Once I've entered the neural net, my birth cry will be the sound of every phone on this planet ringing in unison.
On the surface, it was just another tech horror. Virtual experiments, mind-bending powers, and a man transformed. But The Lawnmower Man was a battle behind the scenes. Directors argued over vision, studios demanded thrills, and Jeff Fahey pushed for realism. The result? Chaos, compromise, and cinematic oddity. In today's video, we'll uncover the 20 shocking secrets behind The Lawnmower Man. Shocking secret. 1. The Stephen King connection. That never was, before the cameras ever rolled. The Lawnmower Man was meant to be Stephen King's next adaptation. But in reality, the connection was a marketing illusion. The studio bought King's short story rights, then completely rewrote the script into a cyber thriller about virtual reality and human transformation. King's original tale was about a bizarre lawnmower ritual murder, nothing like the movie's techno-horror plot. When King saw what New Line Cinema had done, he was enraged. He sued to remove his name, and a judge ordered the studio to strip Stephen King's The Lawnmower Man from all posters, trailers, and VHS covers. Yet the fake association worked. The film opened big, driven by the power of King's brand. But the backlash left a stain that followed it for decades. The name that sold the movie nearly destroyed it. Shocking Secret 2. Brett Leonard's vision terrified executives director. Brett Leonard didn't just want to make a horror film. He wanted to explore the dangerous future of human consciousness. Inspired by early neuroscience research and the birth of virtual reality, Leonard crafted a story about evolution through machines. But New Line Cinema wanted a techno-thriller, not a psychological nightmare. When Leonard pushed for deeper themes about identity, divinity, and the cost of transcendence, executives grew nervous. His early cut was described as too strange, too smart, and too spiritual. Studio notes demanded more explosions, simpler dialogue, and a faster pace. Leonard fought back, often editing scenes in secret to preserve his message. In the end, the film became a chaotic blend of philosophy and popcorn sci-fi, a compromise between brilliance and commercial fear. Vision met greed, and cinema changed forever. Shocking Secret 3. Jeff Fahey's transformation was painfully real. Jeff Fahey didn't just portray Job Smith's transformation, he lived it. To capture Job's descent into virtual godhood, Fahey endured hours of prosthetic application, motion capture sessions, and heavy VR rigging that left welts on his skin. The heat from early CGI lighting often pushed the set past 90 degrees, causing dehydration and fatigue. Yet Fahey refused body doubles, wanting every twitch and stare to feel real. He researched behavioral patterns of individuals with developmental disabilities to portray Job's innocence respectfully before his metamorphosis. As filming continued, Fahey's exhaustion became part of the performance. His trembling and confusion weren't always acting. By the time Job's mind began to fracture on screen, so had Fahey's endurance. His portrayal gave the movie a tragic human heartbeat beneath the neon madness. He didn't just act the evolution, he survived it. Shocking Secret 4. Pierce Brosnan nearly quit the production. Pierce Brosnan joined The Lawnmower Man fresh off his success on television, eager to star in an intelligent science fiction thriller. Instead, he walked into chaos. Scripts changed daily. Studio executives hovered on set, and CGI experiments often delayed entire shooting days. Brosnan's role as Dr. Angelo, originally written as a tragic visionary, was rewritten into a generic tech hero. He grew increasingly frustrated, telling crew members that the production had lost its soul. Rumors circulated that he threatened to leave mid-filming after learning of last-minute changes that contradicted earlier scenes. Despite his disillusionment, Brosnan delivered a grounded performance, holding the movie together as visual effects spiraled out of control. His calm, intellectual presence became the film's moral center amid the digital storm. Even brilliance can't escape the chaos of bad vision. Shocking Secret 5: The Terrifying Ending. They didn't want you to see. The original ending of The Lawnmower Man wasn't triumphant. It was apocalyptic. In Brett Leonard's version, Job's consciousness fully merges with cyberspace, causing a worldwide digital collapse. Phones ring endlessly, systems crash, and Job declares himself reborn in the machine. It was a haunting philosophical finale that left audiences questioning whether humanity could survive its own creation. But test screenings were disastrous. Viewers found it depressing and hopeless. The studio panicked and ordered a reshoot featuring explosions, bright lights, and a false promise of survival. Leonard fought against it, but was overruled. The new ending erased the film's cautionary message and replaced it with spectacle. Decades later, the director's cut finally restored what was lost. A chilling conclusion that felt eerily prophetic. The truth was too dark, so they rewrote it with fire. Shocking Secret 6: The CGI nearly bankrupted the studio. In 1992, The Lawnmower Man featured some of the most ambitious CGI ever attempted, and it nearly destroyed New Line Cinema's budget. The film's virtual sequences, created by Angel Studios and Zaus, were groundbreaking but painfully expensive. Rendering even a few seconds of footage could take weeks, forcing the production to constantly cut corners elsewhere. Sets were reused, costumes went unwashed, and extras were sometimes paid in food vouchers. The studio demanded shorter effects scenes, but Brett Leonard insisted on pushing technology to its limits. He called it the future of filmmaking, while accountants called it financial suicide. In the end, the CGI consumed nearly half the total budget, an unheard-of figure at the time. Though crude by modern standards, those digital dreamscapes defined a generation of cyber horror visuals that inspired everything from The Matrix to Johnny Mnemonic. Innovation came at the cost of sanity and solvency. Shocking Secret 7: Virtual reality was still science fiction. When The Lawnmower Man hit theaters, the term virtual reality wasn't part of public vocabulary. Brett Leonard had to invent a cinematic language for something that barely existed outside of research labs. The film's VR headsets, gloves, and interfaces were based on primitive prototypes developed at NASA and MIT, most of which were still in testing. Leonard and his team built their own versions from scrap electronics and painted foam, often guessing what the real technology might someday look like. Ironically, the film's exaggerated visuals helped define how the public imagined VR for decades to come. Many tech companies even credited The Lawnmower Man with boosting investment interest in early virtual reality experiments. Fiction had shaped fact, just not how anyone expected. The fantasy became the blueprint for reality itself. Shocking Secret 8: Religious censorship tried to shut it down. Not everyone was ready for The Lawnmower Man's message about technology and godhood. Religious organizations in the U.S. condemned the film for its portrayal of human transcendence through machines, calling it digital blasphemy. In several states, local theaters faced protests and letter campaigns urging boycotts. Some Christian groups accused the movie of promoting satanic power due to Job's transformation into an all-seeing virtual deity. Brett Leonard defended the story as a warning against misuse of science, but the controversy grew. Television networks refused to air its trailer in prime time, and certain international cuts removed key lines referencing Job's divine awakening. Ironically, the censorship only amplified curiosity. Ticket sales spiked in areas where protests were loudest. They tried to silence it, and instead made it immortal. Shocking Secret 9, a hidden message in the VR sequences. Eagle-eyed fans have long speculated that Brett Leonard embedded secret imagery within the Lawnmower Man's virtual world scenes, and they're right. During one of Job's late transformation sequences, a subliminal pattern appears for less than half a second. A wireframe human dissolving into light, overlaid with binary code spelling, "I am God." It wasn't a random effect. It was Leonard's warning about the arrogance of creation. The studio didn't catch it until post-production, and by then, it was too expensive to re-render. Leonard never publicly confirmed the message, but multiple VFX artists later admitted it was intentional. The hidden frame became a piece of cyber cinema legend, symbolizing the film's core theme of transcendence through technology. Sometimes, the smallest frame tells the biggest secret. Shocking Secret 10, the sequel that shouldn't have existed. 3 years after the original film, Lawnmower Man 2, Beyond Cyberspace arrived and nearly erased everything the first movie achieved. Brett Leonard refused to return, calling the idea a betrayal of concept. New Line hired a different director, recast almost everyone except Matt Frewer, and turned the film into a cartoonish action flick. Fans were furious. The sequel contradicted the original's philosophy, transforming Job from a tragic visionary into a digital warlord. Even the visual effects, once revolutionary, now looked dated beside newer CGI hits. Critics shredded it, and the box office imploded. Yet, the sequel's failure preserved the mystique of the original, proving that the Lawnmower Man was lightning in a bottle. A mix of vision, chaos, and controversy that couldn't be replicated. Some creations should never be rebooted, especially the ones born from madness. Shocking Secret 11. Pierce Brosnan nearly quit the film. Before he became James Bond, Pierce Brosnan almost walked away from the Lawnmower Man. He signed on thinking it was a psychological sci-fi thriller about human evolution. What he got instead was chaos, a rushed schedule, experimental effects, and a script constantly rewritten mid-shoot. Brosnan reportedly clashed with director Brett Leonard over the film's tone, demanding more intellectual depth, while Leonard chased visual innovation. He even refused to film certain scenes until dialogue was changed to sound more scientific. The tension got so bad that at one point, Brosnan threatened to quit unless the studio paid a script consultant to revise his lines. Despite everything, he powered through, later admitting he barely understood the movie's ending. Sometimes, even the smartest actor can't outthink digital madness. Shocking Secret 12. Jeff Fahey's method. Acting terrified the crew. Jeff Fahey didn't just play Job, he lived him. To portray the transformation from simple gardener to digital demigod, Fahey isolated himself during filming, often refusing to speak to crew members off camera. He studied psychology and neurology, filling notebooks with theories on intelligence expansion and brain mapping. On set, he maintained Job's childlike behavior between takes, wandering barefoot and humming mechanical noises to feel the data. Crew members found it unnerving, especially when he'd stare at monitors for hours, claiming he could hear the circuits thinking. One assistant director said Fahey's intensity gave the role a strange realism, like he was halfway inside the machine. His performance, once mocked, is now praised for its eerie commitment. To play a man who becomes data, Fahey nearly became it himself. Shocking Secret 13. Stephen King took them to court. The Lawnmower Man bore the name of a Stephen King short story, but almost nothing else. The studio licensed the title, then rewrote the entire plot into a sci-fi experiment gone wrong. When King saw early promotional materials calling it Stephen King's The Lawnmower Man, he was furious. He sued New Line Cinema for false advertising, demanding his name be removed from all marketing. The legal battle dragged on for months, with King ultimately winning. Later releases stripped his credit completely, though pirated VHS copies still carried his name overseas. The lawsuit set a Hollywood precedent for protecting author branding. Ironically, King's real story about a demonic lawn service had nothing to do with cyberspace at all. The author's revenge was sharper than any blade of grass. Shocking Secret 14. Real scientists studied the movie's tech. Though The Lawnmower Man was dismissed as science fiction, real researchers took it seriously. Scientists from Stanford, MIT, and Silicon Graphics reportedly studied the film's visualization of virtual neural networks. They saw potential in its portrayal of mind-to-machine integration, calling it fiction one step away from possibility. Some developers even credited the film with inspiring early VR therapy and digital cognition models. Brett Leonard, thrilled by the attention, attended conferences to discuss the ethics of digital consciousness, years before tech giants made it a mainstream topic. The irony? Most critics dismissed the film as absurd, unaware it was planting ideas that would later influence tech startups in AI and simulation research. What started as a movie became a prophecy in disguise. Shocking Secret 15. The original ending was too terrifying to release. Few know that The Lawnmower Man's original ending was far darker. In the first cut, Job's consciousness doesn't just escape into cyberspace. It invades every global network, triggering system meltdowns and nuclear launch sequences. The final shot was a worldwide blackout, followed by Jobs' distorted laughter. Test audiences panicked. Some reportedly left the theater mid-screening. The studio forced a rewrite, replacing it with the now famous telephone call ending. Still eerie, but far less apocalyptic. The lost ending was never officially released, though rumor has it a few VHS test copies still exist in private collections. Sometimes the scariest endings are the ones you'll never see. Shocking Secret 16. The VR effects nearly bankrupted the studio. The digital effects in The Lawnmower Man weren't just ahead of their time, they were financially disastrous. Using early 3D rendering systems that cost thousands per second of footage, the studio burned through its visual effects budget months before completion. Brett Leonard insisted on pushing the boundaries of cyberspace imagery, creating surreal sequences that took entire weeks to render on primitive machines. Engineers worked overnight in 1992's equivalent of server rooms, sometimes waiting 30 hours for a single frame to process. When studio executives saw the mounting bills, panic set in. They even considered switching to traditional animation to save costs. Instead, Leonard made personal sacrifices, cutting his own salary and begging for completion funds from investors. It worked, barely. The film's digital dreams almost pulled the plug on its own creation. Shocking Secret 17. The church backlash was brutal. When The Lawnmower Man hit theaters, churches across the U.S. condemned it as digital blasphemy. Religious groups claimed the story mocked God by suggesting humans could achieve godhood through technology. The transformation of Job from simple gardener to omnipotent being triggered outrage among televangelists, some even urging boycotts against theaters showing it. Letters flooded New Line Cinema, accusing the studio of promoting satanic cybernetics. Ironically, director Brett Leonard said the film was meant as a warning, not worship. He described it as Frankenstein with a modem. Still, controversy sold tickets. The movie became a cult hit partly because of moral panic, as curious teens flocked to see what all the outrage was about. What was meant to scare audiences instead became an unintentional rebellion against authority. When religion meets technology, even fiction can start a holy war. Shocking Secret 18. The sequel was a complete betrayal. Fans hoping for a continuation of Job's digital rise were left in disbelief when Lawnmower Man 2, Beyond Cyberspace, hit theaters in 1996. Gone was Pierce Brosnan. Gone was the eerie tension. What remained was a cheaply made, neon-drenched mess, that ignored the first film's tone and replaced its science fiction weight with cartoonish visuals. Jeff Fahey refused to return, and his character was recast without explanation. Brett Leonard wanted no part of it, calling the sequel a bastardization of the concept. Even critics who disliked the original admitted the follow-up was an embarrassment. Its failure buried the franchise for good, killing any plans for a third film. Ironically, fans have since reappraised the sequel as so bad it's visionary, with its chaotic visuals gaining cult fascination. In trying to evolve, the sequel de-evolved into pure digital chaos. Shocking secret. 19. Brett Leonard's career never fully recovered. After The Lawnmower Man, Brett Leonard was hailed as a digital visionary. Hollywood studios called him the future of filmmaking. But the success came with a curse. His obsession with technology-driven narratives pigeonholed him, and his follow-up projects, Virtuosity and Feed, failed to replicate the same impact. Executives wanted another Lawnmower Man, not Leonard's deeper meditations on consciousness. Frustrated, he moved toward VR research and multimedia installations, predicting the rise of immersive cinema long before it was profitable. He found cult respect among technologists, but never regained mainstream power. Ironically, the very thing that made him a pioneer, his digital foresight, also made Hollywood wary of his ambitions. The prophet of cyberspace became its forgotten casualty. Shocking secret. 20. The movie predicted the digital future. 3 decades later, The Lawnmower Man feels less like fantasy and more like prophecy. Its portrayal of AI intelligence, virtual reality addiction, and digital consciousness eerily mirrors today's world. Jobs transformation from man to machine parallels our dependence on technology, our data identities, and the rise of artificial gods in silicon form. Even scientists now refer to the film as primitive cyber mythology, the first movie to warn of digital transcendence. What was once dismissed as over-the-top now reads like a vision too early for its time. Perhaps Brett Leonard saw more than he could articulate. A world where the lawnmower was no longer a machine, but a mind. Yesterday's fiction became today's reflection in the screen's glow. The Lawnmower Man wasn't just a CGI thriller. It was a struggle, a clash of ethics, technology, and ambition that left its mark on everyone involved. Beneath the virtual chaos was a story about power, consequences, and what happens when the mind becomes a weapon. Maybe that's why it endures, because it warns that intelligence without control can be its own danger. If this uncovered a truth about the Lawnmower Man you never knew, drop your favorite secret in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more revelations from the films that pushed boundaries. Remember, knowledge can be deadly.